So Russ, I got some titles in the mail the other day. I got a little bit of a haul here I'd like to share with you and maybe our viewers at home for anyone that might be interested in what's happening here.
I'm interested.
The first one is the Neverending Story in 4K. I actually went and bit the bullet and got this from the German Amazon. And this we covered not that long ago when we did a 4K and Blu-ray comparison. And I was so pretty much just blown away by how it looked. I thought, who knows if this is ever going to come out in the US. There's always rumors that something like this will, but nothing ever materializes. So I thought I got to see this in person. So I went and I picked this up, and I got to tell you, it is as stunning as it seemed like it was when we covered it.
Nice.
The one thing about this release, for anyone that was considering it, a couple of things that I actually wasn't aware of when I purchased it. One, I'm a huge fan of this movie, but I actually either don't remember or never really knew that there was an alternate cut of this film, a German version and a US version. This coming from Germany, that's the version that was on the 4K disc. Quite a few differences that didn't completely take me out of it, but definitely made me look at it in a different way. I think even more serious, which is kind of a weird thing to say because this movie has a serious tone to it. It's a little dour, it's a little dark at times, it's hopeful too, but the one main difference here was that there was a orchestral score versus the Giorgio Moroder electronic score that blends some of this Klaus Doldinger stuff, which is the composer, kind of like some of his song like motifs and whatever, like Giorgio Moroder did his thing with those notes and made it electronic and did a lot of really great things with it. That's completely absent. So many things just felt more operatic. So many things felt more even maybe sadder at times. There's longer scenes, shorter scenes. A couple of voices are different, one of which is the guy that rides the racing snail. In the original one, he has a very loud and booming voice, which you can tell is not his voice. Like, you can clearly tell it's not. Like,
we are on the same mission. After all, if the Empress can't save us, who could?
And that's okay. I'm living with it. This version transplants that voice with some like,
we're on the same mission. After all, if the Empress can't save us, who could?
It's like so out of place, so bizarre. I almost laughed when he started to talk. I was like, is this what this band's always sounded like here? Thank you for changing that at least. For if you change anything, I'm glad they changed that. It was so bizarre. It's a stunning looking film. Despite all those little differences, it was kind of cool to see an original version of this film, the way that maybe it was intended to be seen. The opening doesn't even have the Neverending Story song on it. It's just title credits, and then boom, the movie starts. So a couple of changes, but great time. Check it out. I highly recommend it.
To the beach, wench.
Next up, I bit the bullet, Russ, and I did go to a scalper and get the Basic Instinct collection from
Good man.
StudioCanal. I hadn't seen this film at the time that we talked about this release, but since had seen it and blown away by it, loved every second of it, was really super glad that I had watched it based on your recommendation, but unfortunately, this great collector set had been sold out.
Where would you rank it in your list of Verhoeven films?
It's probably third. I mean, and only probably because I saw it later in life, and I said this about Raiders of the Lost Ark too. It was like I've seen these other ones so much, and it's ingrained in me that to see this new one, while I can see how amazing it is, RoboCop and Total Recall are just like a part of my being. It's just like a part of my
your DNA.
Kind of. I mean, it is. It is, but this movie was incredible. It really was. And I was sad that I couldn't then go pick it up, and I considered just getting the Steelbook. I ended up not getting too screwed on this. I think I ended up paying about $15 more than what I normally would have paid. The shipping was the exact same. So for this movie, for this release, which is, by the way, really awesome, this case is incredible. Like just like the different glossy side, the matte side, the way that some of that's incorporated together, the way that this opens up, like a ton of like photos, and the way that it's just put in there with these little pouches and little like wrapping.
Take it out.
Yeah, no, you just
I don't
want to
take it out of the
nice booklet, the way that it opens up. Like overall, just incredible. Just awesome job. This is a really great release.
Get yourself a poster here. Oh, look at that. I like that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Right? Cool poster. Solid release. Super glad to own this. Glad that it was still available. There was only like one person selling it too, or kind of lucked out.
4K King super fans know I was able to get this.
Get the fuck out of here.
When it first came out, but I was screwed on True Romance, which I still haven't picked up.
One other one that I picked up not that long ago, Titans of Cult put out this Pacific Rim edition, again in what they normally do is a steelbook with a outer wrapping and some kind of, maybe poster, maybe other element like a pin or a patch or something. And this is pretty much the exact same thing. So I was interested to see this when it popped up for, again, fairly cheap. I know you had bought Clockwork Orange, right? But that's not in yet.
Yes. Nah, I haven't. It hasn't.
Yeah, like I don't know how if their packaging has stayed the same, if it's evolved, if it's what, but essentially it kind of comes, with a clear slip over top, and you can see the steelbook in the back, and whatever they're providing, in this case it's a pin, it's on this other plastic insert, but it's kind of poking forward, so it gives this like 3D effect on there, which is pretty cool. And then so you kind of open this up from the top, and the content sort of comes out this way. And I don't know if they do more like slide to the left type stuff now, or if it's always like this, but inside is their steelbook, the art that they kind of come up with. And then on the inside is a poster that's still in this sleeve. But if I open this up, it's, on this art. It's a pretty nice steelbook overall. And I like, again, anytime you're going to get a steelbook, if it's in some packaging around it, great.
Mm-hmm. Everything blue. We're looking at you.
It's nothing too flashy. It's just right. It's not a ton, and it's not that expensive. So I mean, I'm really interested to see, Lars, when you get yours, one of the more modern ones, if it's the same, if it's any different. But I really like this. I thought this was pretty cool. Lastly, from our great friends at Koch Media, I ended up getting the American Psycho Soul Man edition from Koch Media. This was limited, and I know as soon as Russ said that he got it, I was like, man, that thing is limited. That thing is going to sell out. If you're getting it, I need to get this thing too before you do the same thing to me like you did with Basic Instinct. So I went out and I got this, and I've never actually owned anything from Koch Media before too, so I was kind of excited to see what are they doing. And right off the bat, I was not disappointed whatsoever. It's interesting how they give this stuff to you, whereas usually like Arrow, it slides into the left or the right. This is sort of like, what do you call these, keepsake boxes or something?
Yeah,
where it's like,
it's like a board
top.
game box.
Right. Like the lid comes off, sort of. And then inside is how you get everything else out.
So far, I'm with you. I was so impressed with everything.
The first thing that comes out is where the DVDs are housed. And if you open it up, it's, Patrick Bateman like laying there doing his stretches and his exercises, which is pretty awesome. And then inside is all the different discs, all the cuts of the film, the Blu-rays, the DVDs, the 4Ks, everything's in there. 4 discs total. But they do provide a replica Patrick Bateman business card, which is a pretty awesome touch as well.
That's bone.
Look at that raised lettering.
They give you a floor plan of his apartment, which, I never really considered that I wanted to know or look, but when I look at it, I'm like, damn, his apartment's freaking huge. They give you a recreation of a drawing that he has done here of a woman being chainsawed to death. So I really like that. It's a cool, maybe get that framed. And then also, which is always really cool, but again, when you get these in the foreign market, it's tough because it's in German, but it's a nice booklet with a lot of nice pictures and different things that are going on here, but everything in it is German. There's not a single thing I can read. So if you are someone that can read German, another little solid gift there. And then, Russ, do you want to do the honors and show what soundtrack CD you got?
I do. Now, funny story, when I picked my copy of this, as you said, prior to you picking it up, one of the main selling points to me was that it included the soundtrack. Brilliantly, when I opened this package up, on the bottom of it, it sure does come with the soundtrack.
You like Huey Lewis and the News?
It is the full-length Huey Lewis and the News 4 LP, sealed on CD, not the soundtrack. It's literally the Huey Lewis and the News album.
The album.
The actual album.
Yeah.
So I was expecting, I'm thinking of the movie. I'm thinking, man, there's like New Order in there, Lady in Red. I'm thinking of all these other songs that I thought I was purchasing with this set. Turns out I was getting imported the Huey Lewis and the News Masterpiece 4, which made me laugh so hard.
It looks like an original, too. I love that.
Not only that, as someone who purchased this set, I feel like I'm a victim of Patrick Bateman. That was brilliant.
And on the inside of the box, it's kind of, it's indented so that you can, just fit it. The CD or the disc here just fits right in. It's like snug in there, which is great. And then all the materials go back in. And then the Blu-ray disc case itself goes back in too. But yeah, dude, that is so funny. And it looks original. It looks like they just had those laying around. Like it doesn't look like they had to remake those at all. And what's funny is I watched this movie not that long ago, and I caught at the end of the credits, it says that Koch Media is responsible for the soundtrack that was put together for that movie. Koch Media themselves. So there is more of a tie-in than maybe what we initially thought. So awesome release. I don't know what kind of release like this we're going to get in America. They keep putting out the 4K steel books and everything over and over. maybe not any chance, but this really awesome, really highly recommended. So maybe next week, Russ, if you want to bring some of your titles that you've got, we'll go through some more. But for now, that's everything.